My mom would have called this good trash. It's Conclave. It looks highfalutin and fancy, but it's actually quite twisty and juicy, and it's in theaters now. You guys subscribe and come hang out with us because we're in award season, and I guess this is sort of an award season-y kind of movie. It comes from Edward Berger, the director of All Quiet on the Western Front, which won 4 Oscars recently. So it has like the sheen of prestige, but a dirty heart. Alonso, tell us about it.
It's not a war.
It is a war. And you have to commit to a side.
Yeah, this movie has the bells and whistles of being, like a sort of middle-brow art housey movie, but it's a tawdry little page turner and all the more entertaining because of it.
Yep.
Ralph Fiennes plays the dean of the College of Cardinals, and he is called into play because the Pope has died, and so they must select a new pontiff. And so Ralph Fiennes' character is assembling together the cardinals who are going to vote, and you have various factions at play here. There's a very reactionary Italian Cardinal Tedesco, played by Sergio Castellitto, who wants to bring back Latin. Like, he just wants to undo every, Vatican II and anything remotely kind of progressive that's happened in the Catholic Church over the last 60 years. You have Cardinal Adeyemi, played by Lucien Mesmati, who is a fairly socially conservative Nigerian cardinal. You have the very ambitious Cardinal Tremblay, played by John Lithgow. You have the more progressive and open-minded Bellini, played by Stanley Tucci. And so this is kind of a political thriller. There is backroom dealing and backstabbing and revealing of scandal and all kinds of things of people all politicking for a job that they all profess not to want, and maybe that includes Ralph Fiennes, who knows. But this is based on a novel by Robert Harris. I've not read it. I've not read any of Robert Harris's books, but this has all the earmarks of like a really good page turner that you read on an airplane.
Yeah.
It's all about the hidden corridors of power that few people have ever actually entered, and this movie revels in all of the lush kind of theatricality and splendor of the Catholic Church. Everything that they bought instead of feeding the poor. So all of the cassocks and all of the silver salvers and all of the everything, he loves a shot. Berger loves a shot of like a bunch of cardinals walking across a piazza, all under white umbrellas in their red outfits.
That's a cool shot, though.
It is, but it's like it should be a Busby Berkeley musical number at some point, or really speed it up and make it Koyaanisqatsi. I don't know, but yeah, it's trashy, but it's fun. And I was at the edge of my seat wondering, like, who will be Pope? And they build the suspense in. I know you're a big fan of the score, which will not let you alone.
Conclave. Yeah, it's a lot. It's Volker Bertelsmann, who also did the score for All Quiet on the Western Front. And so, yeah, I thought this was really fun too, and I never knew where it was going. And I like movies about process, which I know you do too.
Sure.
And this is a secret thing, how they vote and all this stuff. And so I enjoyed watching the vote tallies each time around and like who's ahead, who's behind, who got some surprising votes that maybe didn't want them.
Meeting.
It is like being at a LAFCA meeting and knowing who to throw your support behind as the room changes. I was thinking about that too. We're not nearly so secretive in LAFCA. Part of it too is that they have to get sequestered from the outside.
Yes.
And so Ralph Fiennes' character has a bit of contact with the outside world through this Monsignor who is his right-hand man. But for the most part, like, this is meant to be very pristine and very secretive and very insular, which adds some tension to it because we know that there's some tension simmering on the outside of where they are here. I dug it too, from a production standpoint, from just like where Berger will put the camera. There's a sense of isolation quite frequently for a lot of people as they are trying to grapple not only with their vote, but with their faith in the moment. And so like where he'll put Ralph Fiennes in the middle of like a long, beautifully austere corridor, or he and Stanley Tucci, who are very good friends, will sit side by side and talk, and that they'll be just like in one corner of the frame, and like everything around them is so ornate and so beautiful, and just he creates a lot of meaning with just the imagery here. And your mention of the shot with the umbrellas has a lot about that too. Yeah, I liked the trappings of all of this, and I never knew where it was going. And part of that is Ralph Fiennes' performance, because his character, Dean Lawrence, has to sort of walk a fine line between saying, I don't really want this gig. I don't know what my saint's name would be, whatever my pope name would be if I become pope. But he also has to indicate to us the possibility that he has pondered this, you know?
Yeah.
Stanley Tucci is great in this, like legitimately great, because he's the voice of reason, and he gets these like thunderous monologues where he gets to like really spell out what the themes are here and what's at stake here. We can see, without straining ourselves too much, a whole lot of corollaries to where we are in our country as far as futures and divergent paths and which way do you want to go. And so that's not subtle in any way, but meaningful still.
Yeah, and there's a final twist that we will not spoil here that I'm very curious to hear from a certain section of critics what they think about it, because it falls in a tradition of a not great trope, but I think maybe this movie is tackling it in a different way than usual. And I'll leave it at that. We can talk more about it maybe later on. But I definitely want to hear about how it plays with that audience.
That is one of many surprises along the way here.
Yeah.
I will say that they play out very effectively here. And if you're going to stay up all night voting for the new pope, you probably could use some coffee. They drink a lot of coffee here.
Italians love espresso.
A lot of espresso. And you know who else does? Our friends at Coffee Bros. They make an amazing espresso, by the way. A lot of great different varieties of that. But the flavor that I love, the roast that I love that they have just brought back and is now on sale, is the Kenya pea berry. It's so good. It has flavors of candied grapefruit and rosemary and grilled pineapple. It's so strange and so different. So if you're looking for something a little bit different, I recommend that. The code for that, which I'll put down below, is Kenya PB20. You get 20% off of that. We can get you 15% off all the time at Coffee Brothers, but this one in particular is on sale now. So I would grab some of that if I were you while it is back in stock. And of course, the holiday blend is coming very, very soon, and we'll let you know when that is available. But yeah, I think if you're going to be staying up all night casting really important votes for who's going to be the new pope, you need some caffeine.
It couldn't hurt. What's your number?
My number is, I'm going to say like an 8. Like, this is really well made. Like, this is a really solidly crafted, beautifully acted, suspenseful airport novel of a movie. It's a take your dad movie. We talk about take your mom movies. This is a take your dad movie, but I was into it. What about you?
Or your very Catholic mom. I'm like a 7.2. I think this would be the ideal airplane movie, except it is really beautifully shot and you do want to see it on the big screen. But it's just, it's kind of trashy, but in a good way.
And Isabella Rossellini too. We didn't mention her.
Yes,
she elevates
as a nun
all
who's
of it.
Seen some stuff.
She's seen some things and she brings some groundedness to it. The women are the ones who really get things done around here.
Always.
So Conclave, go check it out.